From country roads to city lights, unleashing your inner giant. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BlackCEO Podcast. I'm your host, and today we're in for a treat that's going to light a fire under your aspirations and maybe even change the course of your life. We're diving deep into the world of entrepreneurship, resilience, and the unstoppable power of dreaming big, no matter where you come from. Now, before we jump in, I want to give a massive shout out to the incredible woman who inspired today's talk, the one and only Shanda MALONE. Shanda isn't just an entrepreneur, she's a force of nature, a beacon of hope, and a testament to what's possible when you refuse to let your circumstances define you. Through her groundbreaking nonprofit, I Am Light, Shanda is quite literally illuminating the path for women facing seemingly insurmountable challenges. She's not just talking the talk, she's walking the walk, and in stilettos no less. So buckle up, folks. We're about to embark on a journey that'll take us from the back roads of small town America to the dizzying heights of big city success. And trust me, by the end of this talk, you'll be itching to rewrite your own story. Now picture this, a dusty road stretching out to the horizon. Cornfields swaying in the breeze and a young girl with dreams bigger than the big sky above her. That's where our story begins, but oh boy, it's not where it ends. You see, there's this myth that success is reserved for those born with a silver spoon in their mouth, or those who grew up with the bright lights of opportunity shining on them. But let me tell you something. That's a load of hogwash. The truth is, greatness can sprout from the most unlikely places, just like a stubborn dandelion pushing through a crack in the concrete. Let's talk about Sheila Johnson for a moment. Now, if you haven't heard of Sheila, prepare to have your mind blown. This woman didn't just break the glass ceiling, she shattered it into a million pieces and used those shards to build an empire. Sheila is the co-founder of Black Entertainment Television, BET, and the first African-American woman to hit the billion-dollar net worth mark. But here's the kicker. She didn't start out as a media mogul. Picture a young Sheila growing up in the rough and tumble streets of inner-city Baltimore. The odds were stacked against her from day one. But Sheila, she looked at those odds and said, watch me flip this script. She faced racial barriers, gender discrimination, and probably more naysayers than you could shake a stick at. But did she let that stop her? Hell no. Sheila took those challenges and turned them into fuel for her fire. She co-founded BET, revolutionizing how black culture was represented in media. But she didn't stop there. Oh no, that was just the beginning. She went on to establish her own production company, Salamander Hospitality. Talk about diversifying your portfolio. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's great and all, but what does this have to do with me? I'm not trying to be a billionaire. And that's fair. But here's the thing. Sheila's story isn't about the billions. It's about the belief. The belief that no matter where you start, no matter what obstacles are in your way, you have the power to carve your own path. Sheila's journey from the streets of Baltimore to the boardrooms of her own companies is a testament to what's possible when you refuse to let your circumstances define you. It's about looking at the hand you've been dealt and saying, I'm not just going to play this hand, I'm going to reshuffle the whole damn deck. And that, my friends, is exactly what Shanda MALONE did. Like Sheila, Shanda refused to be limited by her small-town beginnings. She took that country grit, that down-home determination, and used it to fuel her journey to success in the big city. But here's where it gets really interesting. Shanda didn't just succeed for herself. No, she took that success and turned it into a platform for empowering others, which brings us to our second theme, entrepreneurship as a tool for empowerment. Now, I know entrepreneurship can sound like a big, scary word. It conjures up images of Silicon Valley types in hoodies or Wall Street sharks in expensive suits. But at its core, entrepreneurship is simply about seeing a need and finding a way to fill it. It's about creating value where there was none before. And let me tell you, Shanda MALONE is a master at this. Shanda's nonprofit, I Am Light, isn't just a clever play on words. It's a mission statement. This organization aims to assist women of all ages facing challenges like homelessness, unemployment, and unplanned pregnancy. Talk about seeing a need and filling it. But Shanda's approach to entrepreneurship as empowerment isn't unique. It's part of a rich tradition of black women using business as a means of uplifting their communities. Let me introduce you to another powerhouse, Kathryn Finney. Kathryn is the founder of DigitalUndivided, or DID for short. Now, if you're not familiar with DID, prepare to have your socks knocked off. This company is on a mission to help tech startups led by Black and Latinx women succeed. And when I say succeed, I mean succeed in a big way. Picture this. It's 1998 and the tech industry is booming. But if you look around those Silicon Valley boardrooms, you'd be hard pressed to find many faces that look like Kathryn's. The tech world was, and in many ways still is, a boys' club. And let's be real, it's mostly a white boys' club. But Kathryn, she looked at that landscape, and instead of seeing barriers, she saw opportunity. She faced challenges in securing funding, sure. She bumped up against racial and gender barriers, absolutely. But did she let that stop her? Not a chance. Instead, Kathryn rolled up her sleeves and got to work. She raised over $4 million in funding for DID and its programs. Now, $4 million might not sound like much in the world of tech startups, but let me put it in perspective. For a company focused on supporting Black and Latinx women in tech, in an industry that is historically undervalued and underfunded these entrepreneurs, $4 million is huge. It's groundbreaking, it's revolutionary. And the impact, oh, let me tell you about the impact. DID has helped over 500 entrepreneurs. That's 500 women who might not have had a shot otherwise. 500 women who are now building companies, creating jobs, and changing the face of the tech industry. But here's the real kicker. Kathryn's work isn't just about the numbers. It's about changing the narrative. It's about showing Black and Latinx women that they belong in tech, that their ideas are valuable, that their voices need to be heard. It's about creating a ripple effect that will be felt for generations to come. And isn't that exactly what Shanda MALONE is doing with I Am Light? She's not just providing services, she's changing the narrative for women facing seemingly insurmountable challenges. She's showing them that they are seen, that they matter, that they have the power to rewrite their own stories. This is the true power of entrepreneurship as empowerment. It's not just about making money, although let's be real, making money is nice. It's about creating opportunities where none existed before. It's about lifting as you climb. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's all well and good, but I'm not Kathryn Finney, I'm not Shanda MALONE, I don't have their resources or their connections, and that's where our third theme comes in. The importance of community support. You see, neither Kathryn nor Shanda nor any successful entrepreneur got where they are alone. They had mentors, supporters, cheerleaders. They had a community that believed in them even when they might have doubted themselves. And this brings us to our third powerhouse example, Madame C.J. Walker. Now, if you don't know who Madame C.J. Walker is, prepare to have your mind blown. This woman was a force of nature, a trailblazer, a pioneer in every sense of the word. Picture this. It's the late 1800s. Slavery has only recently been abolished. Opportunities for Black people, especially Black women, are few and far between. Enter Sarah Breedlove, born to former slaves, orphaned at 7, married at 14, and widowed by 20. The odds were stacked against her from the start. But Sarah, who would later become known as Madame C.J. Walker, refused to accept the hand she'd been dealt. Instead, she rewrote the rules of the game. She started as a washerwoman, barely making ends meet, but then she saw a need in her community, hair care products for Black women. And instead of waiting for someone else to fill that need, she decided to do it herself. Now, let's be clear. Madame C.J. Walker didn't just create a few hair products. She built an empire. She became one of the wealthiest self-made women in America by the time of her death in 1919. She was the first Black woman to become a millionaire, the first Black woman to become a millionaire through her own business acumen and determination. But here's the thing. Madame C.J. Walker didn't just build a business. She built a community. She employed thousands of Black women as sales agents, giving them opportunities for financial independence that were unheard of at the time. She didn't just climb the ladder of success. She built new ladders and invited others to climb with her. And isn't that exactly what Shanda MALONE is doing with I Am Light? She's not just providing services, she's building a community. She's creating a support system for women who might otherwise fall through the cracks. She's saying, I see you, I hear you, and I'm here to help you climb. This is the power of community support. It's about more than just networking or making connections. It's about creating a web of support that catches you when you fall and propels you higher when you succeed. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That's all great, but times have changed. The challenges we face today are different. And you're right, the world has changed. But the principles that guided Madame C.J. Walker, that drive Kathryn Finney, that inspire Shanda MALONE, those principles are timeless. Resilience, in the face of adversity, the power of entrepreneurship to create change, the crucial importance of community support. These aren't just nice ideas or motivational poster slogans. They're the building blocks of success, the secret sauce that turns dreams into reality. So, what does this mean for you? What's the takeaway from Shanda's journey, from the stories of these incredible women? First, it means that your starting point doesn't determine your destination. Shanda Malone proved that a country girl can not only survive, but thrive in the big city. Sheila Johnson showed that a girl from inner city Baltimore can become a billionaire. Madame C.J. Walker demonstrated that a woman born to former slaves can become one of the wealthiest self-made women in America. Second, it means that entrepreneurship isn't just about making money. It's about identifying needs in your community and finding innovative ways to meet them. It's about creating value, not just for yourself, but for others. Shanda's nonprofit, I Am Light, is a perfect example of this. She saw a need, women struggling with homelessness, unemployment, and unplanned pregnancy, and she created a solution. Third, and perhaps most importantly, it means that you're not alone on this journey. Success isn't a solo act. It's a community effort. Whether it's mentors who guide you, peers who support you, or a community that believes in you, remember that your network is your net worth. Now let's talk about you. Yes, you, the one listening right now, may be feeling inspired but also a little overwhelmed. Maybe you're thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm just one person. What can I really do? Let me tell you something. You are more powerful than you know. You have within you the same spark, the same potential that drove Shanda Malone, Sheila Johnson, Kathryn Finney, and Madame C.J. Walker to greatness. You have the power to be a force for change in your community, in your industry, in the world. But here's the catch. That power doesn't mean anything if you don't use it. It's like having a Ferrari in your garage but never taking it out for a spin. What a waste that would be. So here's my challenge to you. Take that first step. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be world-changing. Not yet anyway. But it has to be something. Maybe it's reaching out to that mentor you've always admired but been too scared to approach. Maybe it's finally putting pen to paper on that business plan you've been dreaming about. Maybe it's volunteering in your community to get a better understanding of the needs you could potentially address. Whatever it is, do it. Do it now. Because the world needs your voice, your ideas, your passion. The world needs your light. And speaking of light, remember Shanda's nonprofit, I Am Light. I want you to think about that name for a moment. I Am Light. It's not just a clever play on words. It's a declaration, a statement of purpose, a reminder of the power we all have within us to illuminate the darkness, to light the way for others. So I ask you, what's your light? What unique gift, what passion, what idea do you have that could brighten someone else's world? And more importantly, what are you going to do to let that light shine? Because here's the truth. The world doesn't change when we sit back and wait for someone else to do something. The world changes when ordinary people like you and me decide to do extraordinary things, when we refuse to be limited by our circumstances, when we see challenges as opportunities, when we lift as we climb. Shanda Malone didn't wait for someone else to solve the problems she saw in her community. She became the solution. Sheila Johnson didn't wait for someone else to represent black culture in media. She created BT. Kathryn Finney didn't wait for the tech industry to become more inclusive. She founded DigitalUndivided. Madame C.J. Walker didn't wait for someone else to create products for black women's hair. She built an empire. And now it's your turn. Your turn to dream, build. Your turn to take that first step. Your turn to be the light. So I'll leave you with this. The next time you look in the mirror, I want you to say these words. I am light. Say it again. I am light. Believe it. Own it. And then go out there and prove it because the world is waiting for your light. It's time to shine. Thank you.